The following message is being transmitted at the request of the Boundless PodTrap Movie Review and the guys of the BPT. What you are about to hear contains spoilers to movies. If you don't want to hear these spoilers, please disengage your listening device at this time. If you can't handle those with a possible differing view on a movie, you may also want to disengage your listening device at this time. Stay tuned for a movie review that only the guys at the Boundless PodTrap can give you.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
It's just so smooth.
It is. I feel like I should be surrounded by naked men.
Toby Wong.
With their nice,
Toby Wong.
young, tight bodies.
Toby Wong. Toby Wong. Toby Chong.
Malik Brody.
Charlie fucking J.
Malik Brody.
Toby Wong Kenobi.
That's too far.
Okay.
I don't know.
It is. It's space.
Let's let this thing drown out here right now. So, what's going on, everybody? I'm gonna be back into the.
Ever start a podcast without saying
Hey,
what's going on?
I don't. I actually
going
changed to what's going on. I'm usually like, what's happening? And then you always break my balls like that. Why you gotta break my balls?
Has anybody ever been listening to a podcast or a video where they're like, "What's going on, everybody?" And they're like, "Oh, nothing much." Nobody answers.
Oh, hi.
That's why I keep on going, because I realize after there's no need for a greeting.
So rude. Not a pause at all.
Well, we're just gonna jump into this. I'm gonna be leading this one. I'm the one driving this one.
I'm the leader boy.
No.
Yeah, because that's the very close to the name of the title.
I'm the one
of the movie.
who leads.
Yeah, take my hand,
Nope. Not doing that. Again.
please.
Take my hand, Toby Wong.
Malik.
His name is very close to another movie with Wesley Snipes and John Leguizamo and that's Tu Wong.
Tu Wong.
Tu Wong Fu. Toby Wong Fu.
His name's Tu Wong.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Just so Wong.
Well, welcome back, boys and girls and other friends and lovers. We are doing our movie review podcast, obviously. We are leading into 1997's Gong 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 Drive.
Shut up and drive.
Keep it going.
I don't know anymore.
Yeah. Well, this is I've told you guys before, and if you listen to the last movie podcast, I'm pretty sure I said it on that too. This is probably one of the movies that I've rented the most out of like Blockbuster Hollywood Video way back in the day. It was this movie and The Crow. So that means The Crow's going to be next. No. Drive. One of my favorite actors, Filipino dude, born in Hawaii, Mark Dacascos.
Speaks better English than I do. When his voice came out of his mouth, I was just like, wasn't expecting that.
Was this dubbed?
He does have a very smooth, like...
He does.
Yeah. I'm like, wow. Fly as fuck, man.
You heard his voice, I would... And if you gave me like 5 pictures of 5 different guys and I heard a voice and it's like, match it up, he would have been the first one I canceled out.
Yeah, not that guy.
Well,
Sounds very racist, but it's very
I know.
true.
I don't mean it to sound that way.
there's a lot of like people of the Asian persuasion, or Pacific Islanders who excellent singers. There was a Hmong family that I was kind of attached to for a while, and they used to meet up like almost weekly. They had like they were all musically challenged, not challenged, but they were up there. They knew stuff. Like they can just pick up an instrument. Like all of you guys, like have you all like versed in this? And then when they talk like normal, I guess. But when they sing, it's just like butter. It's smooth. I'm like, where did that come from? Like, how are you?
You're talking about the Jackson 5?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
Further
That's
east.
Filipino 5.
Yeah. Well,
Sorry.
they're Hmong.
Okay.
They're from Laos.
Anyways.
Yeah. So anyways, let's get a description here. So the Internet Movie Database synopsis, says a prototype enhanced human on the run from Chinese hired hitman hooks up with a dreadlocked bystander, and the two of them elude their pursuers nearly each time, and it ranks at a 6.7 out of 10 stars. I would describe this as one of the better action comedy buddy movies of the 90s. A foreigner named Toby Wong, looking to escape the chaotic life of being a weapon for an evil corporation, runs into Malik Brody, a barfly trying to write a hit song, but ends up taking more hits than he expected. Under dire circumstances, Toby politely kidnaps Malik to remove this chip from his heart in the exchange for some large money. The bad guys end up tracking them after every corner, and they get themselves into some makeshift Looney Tunes style destruction. High action, great comedy, and an awesome movie to suspend reality and go for a ride with 1997's Drive. I really like this movie. There is very minimal I would change. For me,
you're just wrapping up the whole podcast.
Yes. Thank you guys for listening. You all been great.
Justin has spoken.
No, there's very little I would change. This is one of those other movies that's like, it's a guy's movie. It's got some awesome actors, very underrated. Like, Mark Dacascos, I really wanted him to like go further. He is very popular, widely popular, even more so now because of like the John Wick series, and like he was in, he's got a whole bunch of stuff. That very famous, widely known Capoeira movie, Only the Strong. And they're like, Paranauê, Paranauê. It's not Bananauê, it's Paranauê. Oh, we're not talking about that movie, though. We will eventually will.
I unless you're talking about Cool Runnings, I got fucking nothing.
Right. That's not a Portuguese. Camujare. Como tá?
You're saying words
Camujare, como vai você?
You're looking
Camujare,
I should know, but
sorry.
You're special.
It's my
You
favorite
touch
song.
my heart.
I don't even know what's happening anymore.
Yeah.
Aye.
Cake by the
Sorry.
ocean.
Anyways, so I would rank this as a 9.5.
A 9.5.
See.
Nice.
He's not doing 10 because he knows he'll get.
He knows we'll give him shit.
Who do you want us to go next with their review rating?
You're in charge of this ship over there.
Oh, I am. I'm going to steer this into your direction. Lonnie,
Me?
go.
So when
Nobody saw that except for us. The sound effect meant nothing.
Why do you do this to me?
when you do this,
It looks cool to me, but I'm like, listeners are like, what the fuck?
Why are you breaking it down? Where do you rank that?
Your whoosh?
Yes. What do you?
For me,
10.
A 10.
A 10.
But to the viewers,
It's a very
negative.
very 10 whoosh. When I first brought this movie in and started it, like I was like,
Put it in.
it put it in the computer land
Oh, okay.
and started it and the tubies. When he was throwing his other movies around, I thought I got the movies wrong because the first one he talked about was like that parody movie. And I thought I fucked up and started the parody movie because the way this movie started, I'm like, no, this is too much. Like this movie is way too over the top.
I so get it.
But like after a while, once I like suspended all disbelief and started like I was like, fuck it, whatever. Like it is what it is. It's like I expected too much. It's a Justin movie. There's going to be fighting. There's going to be Asian dudes.
A bunch of
There's going to be
meaning, like hidden messages.
a bunch of, like at least I don't have to think. Towards the end, I don't like action. I'm going to throw that out there. Like, I'm not an action movie guy. I just don't like them. But towards the end, like, it was so campy and so over the top. I was like, this is like watching a cartoon, but in real life. And then fucking Brittany Murphy hit the screen. And there was so much like sexual innuendos that I don't know if she was intentionally implying, but that just came out of her. And she was so unnecessary in this movie.
Yes.
She was like 15 minutes of like, hey, look, I'm Hollywood's Brittany Murphy. And then it's like, we could write her off here real quick. Should we? Yeah, probably. We can't afford her for tomorrow. Like, I'm going to come with. No. Okay. Like, I'm leaving my home planet. And then she was gone. And then there was more fight scenes. And then the movie was over. And then halfway through the movie, I had to look and see when Rush Hour was made, see which one came first. And towards the end, I was happy it was over, but I was kind of sad it was over. I can't believe I gave it a 5, like right in the middle. Like it didn't suck, but it wasn't good. It was a Justin movie, but it was better than Darkly Noon.
So for me, starting a movie that's especially a Justin pick.
And we're not saying a Justin pick to be. We all have like when it's a Lonnie pick, you know it's going to be like a scary movie or a horror movie. When it's a Jeremy pick, you know it's going to kind of be pushing
Jim
that.
Carrey movie.
It's going to be pushing that line.
We're tired of doing all these Jim Carrey movies, man. That's it.
It's going to be pushing that line. So we all kind of like we're pigeonholed into our classes. But with you, it's very polarizing. It's like Asian men fighting.
Not always.
Even the horror movie you showed us was like mostly kung fu.
Brendan Fraser is not Asian. He's Canadian.
You took when we went to Chuck's and you got to pick a horror movie. It was ghosts fighting.
It was cool as fuck though.
So I did like the action in this movie. It was innovative, especially when they were handcuffed together. That scene was very cool. They did the action well. Humor-wise, they swung and they missed. I think they tried too much humor, and especially Kadee Hardison or whatever his name is that plays Malik Brody. That motherfucker tried to be funny in this movie the whole time, and I don't think anything he said throughout the movie made me laugh once. I think that
Racist.
The chemistry.
He's pulling the whip out on it.
The chemistry between Malik and Toby characters.
Toby Wong.
They were not. It wasn't there. Like he goes in the bar, he holds him as hostage. Malik is like, man, what the fuck, and all this stuff, and then all of a sudden they become like best friends, and like, oh, she loves you, and this and stuff. That the characters were very cartoonish, kind of like how you said, Lonnie. But like Lonnie, I'm going to give this a 5, just because it was a movie. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. The action was great. The comedy and most of the dialogue was hit or miss. So
nice.
5.
That gives us a BBT rating of 11. Good job, guys.
11
or 6.5.
Yeah.
11. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I would disagree with some of those.
Everything we said because the movie's right.
Yeah, no, I think that because I caught on to this movie, well, back when it was made, 97-ish, and I think that kind of secured something in my childhood that it's more nostalgic. And what I see in their relationship is awesome. And I loved Kadee Hardison's acting. I think he's natural at a lot of this stuff. I loved him in Vampire in Brooklyn. It's like a lot of the stuff that he does, I wanted him to do the sequels. Vampire in Brooklyn was made, it was left open to be a sequel. He's the one who was the ghoul who became the vampire at the very end.
Right. He was amazing in White Man Can't Jump.
Wasn't he in...
That is true. Yeah, he was in that one.
Was he in Cosby Show?
He was on a TV show. Fuck, I forget what it was.
Hanging with Mr. Cooper.
Not that one.
I have him right here.
Yeah.
Wow.
He was in the Six Man. He was awesome as he was like the dead guy in the Six Man, the brother who died. Vampire in Brooklyn, Renaissance Man, I'm Gonna Get You Sucker. Another really awesome, funny.
Sesame Street.
Hey, he's done a lot of that stuff. But yeah, and Mark Dacascos, you got the Double Dragon, which we've already touched on.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I think A Different World is what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Between Brothers, yeah.
Island of Dr. Maru with Mark Dacascos, Only the Strong,
Abby.
Kickboxer, Redemption, Crying Freeman, a lot of the old school populars, John Wick, new school. But yeah, this was directed by Steve Wang, who is known for the Guyver movies. He did some of the Power Rangers and Kamen Rider. Are you guys familiar with Kamen Rider?
No.
Amazing stuff. It's kind of like Power Rangers, more symbiotic. He's done, or I guess Guyver is. Sorry, Guyver is that. He's also had his hand in Bill and Ted, Face the Music. He's did some of the Predator movies, Underworld movies, Nightmare on Elm Street, Monster Squad. He's done a little bit of everything here. And then it stars Brittany Murphy. And watching this back, every time I've watched it after her passing, every time I see her, it's like, man, she made this movie, for me, made it great. It's I think her character was just so out there. It was
unnecessary, like Lonnie said.
It was unnecessary, but it made it so much, it thickened certain things. Her humor, or I didn't...
She was probably the funniest part about that movie.
Yeah, I give that.
Absolutely,
I give that.
yeah.
Her humor was so, seeing her in Clueless and other movies where she was a little bit more serious, but I didn't understand that she had more of a physical comedy to her. I'm like, wow, just the way your ditziness, it won me over. I was like, right on. But it's so sad watching it now. It's like, man,
It just made no sense because she was hitting on Malik the whole time and then nothing happened.
It's kind of like...
And then the whole thing with Malik and his ex-wife or whatever it was and whatnot, it's like, she loves you. We never saw how that played out. So what was the point?
I think there was intention to see how this movie went because they really did heavily leave it open sequel-wise.
Yeah.
So I think this movie was intended more franchise intention than single movie and done.
There was a sequel. there was 3 sequels to follow.
There's Rush Hour 1. Rush Hour 2.
Which was done 1,000 times better.
Well, it had a
than this
production
movie.
value.
It
The
did,
thing is like this one had
Like, what can we do to make this movie much better and much more racist?
yeah.
Like, tone up the racism.
But yeah, no, Brittany
Rush
Murphy.
Hour.
She kind of reminded me of the. You guys have watched Animaniacs back in the day.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like Mindy and Buttons. Like the dog was always trying to save her, but the Mindy was always getting like into trouble that would get her almost killed. But she's so oblivious of what's going on around her. I mean, like here she understands what's going on, but it's fun for her.
John Piper Ferguson, though, fucking amazing. As a heel, like, he was an amazing bad guy.
He was. I will agree with that
Like-
statement 110%.
Swinger dicks.
Like, crappy American hitman who's, like, remorseful about having to keep him alive, like, keep the asshat alive when he just wants to kill him.
Yeah.
And he could just see his irritation growing and having to deal with, like, you could see that racism in him a little bit.
Yeah, well,
He's like,
a little bit. It came
"Do you
out
even
at the
see
end.
my face? I'm fucking English."
Well,
Like, just everything about him, like...
I also love that he was involved in like all the fights, and he was getting his ass kicked. In
Like,
a lot
he
of the fights,
wasn't
too. Like,
good.
He
Yeah.
wasn't.
Even one of the first ones when I guess the second. The first one's it starts off at the shipyard. He gets caught. They end up buying off the police to take him to like a finery mill, whatever.
Right.
And he does like this little, when they're in their handcuffs, he does like this little flip him over onto like a pipe. I'm like, dude, you're done. Sit it
Yeah.
out, man.
That
I
wasn't
heard.
that
I
wasn't
heard.
him.
You can't-
That,
whoa.
that
No, it was
another-
him.
No, that was another guy.
No, that was.
It was him.
that
No,
yes,
he
it
had his
was.
mask up the whole time. That was another guy.
It was probably
There
a
was two
stunt-
of 'em.
It was
No, when
probably
he
the
was-
stunt man.
Well, it wasn't the actual actor.
No, there was
but the
no.
character.
I understand what you're talking about. No, there was 2 guys. There was one guy who had his mask down and long blonde browner hair. There was one the guy had his mask down, and then there was him who had his mask up and a mouth and a walkie-talkie thing. The guy who had his mask down did not have the mouthpiece. Like, there was 2 guys. The guy who took the back bump did not have the mouthpiece. 2 different people.
Well, Justin will let you know when he watches it again.
Watch it for the 50th.
pretty sure.
2 different dudes. I watched
sure.
that because I had to watch it again because it's like, oh, that was a bad bump. But no, it was 2 different dudes.
Huh. Well, anyways, from the start, I really like this because I feel like this is Mark Dacascos at his prime. His ninja like ability, very precise movements, the use of his environment. Like it's kind of like putting Donnie Yen and Jackie Chan together. Jackie Chan's up walls, and yeah, this was amazing for me. This was a fun ride.
Now, did he do his own stunts in this?
He did a bit of them. There was another guy who did some gymnast who was
I was
kind
going to
of.
say there was some, the movements weren't quite as fluid through all the scenes. Like some of the movements were very fluid and some were very like stiff and held long.
That's one of my biggest qualms about this is these stunt doubles. There is parts where Malik Brody was a white guy. I'm like, you saw his shirt go up. He's a white dude. Like, yeah. And like when he's in the hotel and he puts the boots on his hands, when he goes into the kitchen, you can see the wig on the actor who's supposed to be Tony Wong, Mark Dacascos' character.
Yeah.
You can see the smaller Asian dude.
One thing, there's 2 things in particular that I want to talk about. And the first one is, we'll start with this one. I think whoever picked the music for this movie needs a new job because I don't think any of it matched up with what was going on at all.
When they're dancing in the car, that was awesome.
That was, and Rush Hour did that in part 2 and did it way better.
I think
That's because they had material to go off of to make it better.
I think that first scene, like that first like fighting sequence scene, had that same track, that same music track for like 15 solid minutes.
Yeah, well, and one of the
Never
One of the
changed.
songs they use was a WWF wrestler's entrance theme, and I'm just like, this is.
Was it before them or
It would have probably been around the same time, but yeah,
which wrestler?
I can't remember.
So it doesn't matter.
No, it matters. It's just
Good fact checking, Jeremy.
music. Music sucked in that.
It wasn't good, yeah. But I wonder if they were just having problems getting the rights to stuff, so they're like, we got the rights to this, Judd, let's use it.
Yeah.
Over
One of
and
the
over.
little nuggets that was meaningful to me is when Toby Wong.
Toby Wong?
Yeah, when he gives the character, when the cops pull him over and they're like, what's your name? He says, Sammo Hung. I'm like, that's right on. That's my dad. My dad is the Italian Sammo Hung. Yeah.
Did you want to put in a laugh track there?
No, we're just going to leave it.
He'll do it when he's editing.
We'll leave it open like that. Yeah, the fight scene and the choreography at the mill, I thought was excellent. One thing I didn't really like is like when you see him getting handcuffed, Malik and Toby, when they get handcuffed together, like the chain is small, but when they're doing the fight scenes, they have an extended amount of chain. I'm like, well, where did that come from? So there was a little bit of a, what's the word? Starts with the C.
Continuity?
Continuity. Thank you. There was a little bit of a continuity issue there.
That's, I guarantee you, not the only continuity.
I mean, the choreography can be simple when like you're doing just a one-on-one type of thing, but when you are attached to somebody, the choreography and the dynamics of that is on a whole different plane. So you got to switch things up, and how creative they were using somebody who's going into the fight and somebody who's trying to run. And I liked the humor in that where one's trying to run and the other one's messing up his wicked awesome display, and he's like, ow, you know, like when he falls on, yeah. Or the what you need the bucket for?
I don't know. I think this movie could have been a lot better if they cast somebody else to play Malik. Malik is really.
What is your hatred towards him? That dude was awesome. I thought
he wasn't
made it.
good at acting. He wasn't good with.
I thought he was natural.
Tone. He was way off with his humor and timing. He was just terrible.
Say it. You wanted somebody who was of a different complexion.
No, it could have been anybody else. Chris Rock.
Oh, don't say that.
It could have been Bob Saget. No one would have complained.
Danny Glover would have even been better. But this
Danny Glover, I'm too old for this shit.
But Kadee, come on, that guy. Like, I feel like they didn't even have auditions for this movie. There's like the first people that showed up, they're like, you got it.
Yeah, you're good. I didn't think he was horrible. Like, I'll go as far as to say I don't think he was a bad cast for the role. I think he wasn't even young in his acting career, but I just think the movie itself, I can't even say it was too self-aware that it wasn't going to be a good movie, but I think it knew its place being a straight-to-video release, that it could skimp a little bit. Like, it was a 3.5 million budget.
It definitely got tossed under the radar. I don't even think it got a theatrical release.
It didn't. So. Yeah, it's
probably a good thing.
Straight to video release.
What is your issue?
I just don't think this was worth.
When they got to the hotel, the best thing about this movie, I'm pretty sure you all can agree.
The end credits.
Oh, Walter the Einstein frog.
Walter the fucking Einstein frog.
That's the best thing about this movie. That is an intelligent frog. It's a very smart frog.
What was Brittany Murphy's line?
Oh, it was something like, that is a really smart frog.
That's a really smart frog.
But yeah, at the hotel, tell me what you guys would do. You got free porn. Are you going to watch Walter the Einstein frog? Or are you going to watch porn?
Is Brittany Murphy with me in my room?
Jumping on your bed?
TV ain't going to be on. She's in my room with me.
Especially that Brittany Murphy?
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
When she's alive.
Okay. Post 2009?
Yeah.
Let's not go there. She was 32 when she passed. That's...
She was 32, so how old was she in 97 then?
That would be 12 years.
She's not 32 and...
She was about 20. She was 20 when...
Taken too young.
Yeah. I guess
she
that
was
part
a great
with
actress.
Yeah.
She was fun in that role.
I think, for me, Deliverance, the character name of Brittany Murphy... Like, she was so psycho that it kind of almost puts on par or even puts to shame sometimes, like, depending on who's playing her. But Harley Quinn, she's crazy psycho.
She could have been up for that role if she was still around.
Yeah, I could see that. She'd make a good Harley Quinn.
Also with the Vic Madison, like, when they leave the hotel. At this point, when they're at the hotel and they leave, Toby Wong has killed probably like 20 men at this point.
Toby Wong?
Yeah. He'd probably... Are you going to repeat that every time I say it? Yeah, he's probably killed about like 20 people at this point. Like, he electrocuted a guy, all this other, blowing up and everything. Yeah, throwing off of roofs and stuff. They're not surviving that. But he went to go slash the tires, and he took the, rocket launcher out. It's like, why didn't you just kill Vic Madison when you had the chance? You've already killed all these other people.
Because that was only like 40 minutes into the movie. So.
Right, he can't be a cold-blooded killer yet.
But he's already killed like 20 people. Isn't that a cold-blooded killer?
Yeah.
Toby Wong?
Can we talk about the dumbest scene in the movie?
If you want. No, I changed my mind.
Toby Wong
singing,
I'm quoting, singing karaoke.
Awesome. Amazing.
Dumb. The dumbest thing in the world. Like, I know that was another swing and a miss with humor. Like, I was looking at that. I'm like, I'm not laughing at this. I'm just thinking how stupid this is, and that the writer Scott Phillips really probably wanted this scene in there, thinking it was going to be funny. And even when they're on set, they're just like, nope.
Did you prefer Toby Wong singing, or did you prefer Leatherface? Leatherface was the one singing Yankee Doodle. The actor R.A. Milahaloff singing Yankee Doodle. He was the guy who played Leatherface.
Yeah.
One of the guys. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I know he played Leatherface. He was in this movie?
He was the dude singing Yankee Doodle.
I was so checked out at this point that I didn't notice that. I probably prefer neither.
There's another person in there, Sinai Lathan, who played Malik's wife. And I really loved her in a lot of the stuff. Like, I'm a big Predators movie, and she was the one who was in Aliens vs. Predator. The chick, she played Alexa in that. She was the chick who kind of teamed up with Scar, the blooded Yautja, or Predator. And she was also Vanessa in Blade. She's done a lot of good stuff.
She had like one line in this movie.
Cut your handcuffs off and leave.
Speaking of Predator.
She was the one who was with that cheeseburger.
Yeah, that was a good line. I like that line. But speaking of Predator, I tried to watch Predator 2 again, and fuck, is that movie bad as well.
Too old
I'm
for
not
that
a fan
shit?
of the Predator movies.
You don't know what you're missing.
I've seen them.
You don't know what you're
Just not a
missing.
fan.
The first one at least had a camp to it, where like Predator 2, they were trying to be serious.
It's my favorite cheese-eating dick monkey.
And it's not just this movie. A lot of action movies do that, but like the end scene when like all the shit's just like the dust is finally settled.
Oh, yeah.
They've destroyed everything in the place where they're at. There's mini fires everywhere. They're hurting. They almost got killed. And then they walk off like joking with each other. Like they're just going to walk out of there scot-free. Nothing. They're just going to go back to their normal
no
life.
cops, no anybody's called,
It's
no
just-
sirens.
You know it's a movie, right?
And these two are like supposedly best friends now. I'm like, you've known each other for 24 hours. What? Like, I don't.
Like, you got to suppress the realism from the start. Like, it starts off on turbo.
See, this is the thing though that makes Rush Hour so much better than this too, is the dynamic between Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan. They are annoyed with each other for the majority of the movie. It's not until close to the very end where they finally like sort of like, oh, we kind of work good together. But this one, it's just like Malik gets kidnapped by Toby Wong
At gunpoint.
Yeah,
Wong.
and you know, Wong was even like gonna like kill him or whatever at the beginning, and then they're driving off together, and then all of a sudden this total change by Toby where he's just like, "I'm not gonna hurt you," and then it's just.
Are you
like,
saying it with an accent?
I don't know because he didn't.
I don't know either. He doesn't have it.
He was like, "I am not going."
He's like, I'm not going to hurt you.
I literally can't say it without giving him an accent. What the fuck?
I am not going to hurt you.
I'm not going to kill you.
He has like the most
not gonna
American
hurt you. I know.
accent.
I am not planning to hurt you.
But then all of a sudden
fuck?
they're like fucking best friends. I'm like, this is not even close to being realistic.
Oh, sir, you do not worry.
You don't understand.
I do not plan on hurting
It's like
you
when you meet
whatsoever.
somebody, when you meet somebody, like in the military, when I meet somebody and you have to go hand in hand, drag through the shit, and then you build a camaraderie. That's how it was. One of the things that I didn't really care about in this movie is that like its basis around like an evil corporation, like a mega corp that is supposed to be Chinese, but there were like pretty much no Chinese people in this except for like one guy. Like everybody else, you could tell was like obviously Filipino, and most of the actors, the stunt actors, you can see that are
Obvious to
Caucasian. They got the bigger eyes. You can tell a Filipino when you see him. Okay, next time you say like that looks like Joe Coy. You know, like, that'll help you out at least.
Does it look like
Like the guy
a
who,
Beanie Baby or one of the new Beanie Babies?
but no, I mean like even like the main bad guy, he was a Japanese dude, and they're under like the Chinese corp. The only guy who was cut up on the ship with the scars on his face.
By the way, the worst fucking makeup. It looked like somebody took a
Like a
magic
paintbrush.
mark. Like,
His scars
you
were
have scars now.
peeling off.
Nope. Looks like you
It's like they just took like fucking Poland peels.
They got to work with it. God, it was a hot day. It just they were wiping off.
Wouldn't that be terrible if that was that dude's actual face? Like you IMDb him, he's like, he got these scars and a terrible bear accent when he was a child. He grew with them and it overcomes so much anxiety to become an actor.
What were you saying? Are you throwing up? Okay.
Excuse me. I is burping.
Okay.
Going back to that parking lot scene, I mean, with the horrible CGI when they jump and you can see they're obviously not there.
Yes.
That. But
Same guy that did the makeup.
it's good. It's good.
You're okay?
Yeah. I
those-
paid $50 for it.
Is that paper colored orange and yellow?
Yeah. When they finally go to the Apollo, what is it? Apollo 11? The Apollo. When they are
Got booed
overlooking
off the stage.
when they're overlooking the Apollo, and you can see all the landmarks around it, or none of the landmarks since it's kind of in an open spot. When the place blows up and they start leaving, you clearly see a bridge now. It's like that bridge was not there. There's a few.
That definitely
The only continuity
made-
issue in
made
that.
her-
That's crazy.
that's what broke the movie for you. Was that?
I'm like, there's no bridge.
I
You can't just put a bridge when there are none. One of the guys I felt the most bad for is the guy at the Apollo who was in the spinning thing.
That died?
I'm like, he had no chance. So he's like, stop, guys. It's like he's just hearing gunshots and he doesn't know which way it's coming from because he's in one of those little 360 gyro spinning thingies.
those things. Ugh. It's not gyro. It's gyro.
The actor who played Vic Madison, he was actually in the other Drive movie in 2011 with Ryan Gosling.
I saw that.
Yeah.
That's
I'm like,
what really confused me when I was IMDbing this before. I'm like, oh,
You're in Drive and Drive? That's crazy.
He was also what? Oh, do you ever see the movie Bird on a Wire with Mel Gibson and Goldie Hawn?
No.
Okay. Not gonna
Next.
finish that
Nope.
one.
Skip it.
Another one of my favorite spots. It's like just the mannerisms from Deliverance. When she goes to the jukebox and she's like walking, strutting it back to the table. She puts her hand on
Yeah,
and just like
face palms
shoves the
that lady
waitress.
who was
I'm like,
looking at
wow.
Back to hate on Malik. Why was he such a ladies' man in this movie?
He was the only brother.
Can you imagine that dick?
Nope.
Obviously, the best line is
Surrounded by all that other little Asian dick, that big old dick.
Yeah, obviously the best line is like when Vic Madison pulls out the whip and Malik finally gets the on him
Upper ground.
upper ground. Thank you. And he's
No,
like, you'll never pull a whip on a black man again.
Oh,
You crazy?
Yeah. Well, because when that happened and he started whipping him, in my head, I'm like, nah.
Can't do that these
They're
days.
going there, but then it came full circle.
Speaking of, I guess other black men, the license plates, TBA 122 license plate on the car that they were driving. That is Biggie Smalls' license plate I believe it was in the vehicle that he was
Shot in.
Nice.
I think so.
Nice.
Or shot out of. I don't know.
Nice.
There's no gun that
There's a
is
few.
powerful enough to shoot him out of anything.
The fucking tank, baby. Wait, to
Hey.
shoot Biggie Smalls, like, put Biggie Smalls in a gun and shoot him?
I think another one of my favorite lines is like when they're driving and Malik is like, our perception in America is like a bunch of Asian dudes, going around like, your kung fu is lousy and a disgrace to your family and whatever he said. And
And having tiny feet.
yeah, he's like, Toby Wong's like, well, that's kind of our perception of you guys too, except you guys have bigger feet and are less graceful.
Racist. I have tiny feet.
They're,
I guess-
they're even tinier now since you had layers scraped off.
Yeah.
I guess they're more because they're building up,
Oh, that's true.
right?
Yeah, they took it off my leg.
His feet got a lot of ass to it.
Ass kicking feet.
Can you use the thigh master on your feet?
Can you? Or should you?
Good question, Jeremy. Let's consult the doctor.
Yeah, another little nugget for you guys. When Vic Madison was on like the screen, did it look like a PIP, like a picture-in-picture? Like it wasn't an actual thing? He just has like some little monitor? Because it looked like it was edited in there.
What?
When he's talking to his boss, when Vic is talking to his boss on like the little monitor,
Yeah.
did it look like a little PIP, picture-in-picture thing?
Well, obviously, his boss wasn't there when he was talking to him.
Right.
So
But
of
it's on a
course
little
it was
monitor.
a monitor, yeah.
Yes, but did the monitor look like it was edited in post, like a frame onto
Oh,
it?
I get what you're
okay.
saying. I don't know. I wasn't paying attention that closely to that. Knowing them and the CGI they used, yes, probably.
Just someone's holding a little screen up.
Well, that was 19. They probably
97.
filmed. Well, no, they
Yeah.
probably filmed this in 96.
Give or take, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
actually
Or
kind of
95, maybe, yeah.
that technology was not around back then. That was
Right.
kind of like ahead
New
of
age.
its time.
Yeah. And Rush Hour would not be where it's at if not for this movie. So,
You're welcome, Jackie
Yeah.
Chan fans.
ooh,
Man,
I mean, Dacascos can take Chan in a fight, I'm sure about that. But yeah, no, all in all, like I said, I think the reason that I rate this so high is because I grew up with this. Well, of course I'm picking it because I grew up with it. I mean, like, it was one of my favorite ones back in the day. Like, the action was so, I aspired to stuff like that. Like the stunt work, I was the type of person who kind of always wanted to, from the time I woke up to the time I went to sleep, I was all about like building myself, being hard to kill, I guess. I was always trying to train. Like, me and my best friend, we used to always go to the cemetery and train. Like, anytime we weren't in school, we were at the cemetery training, practicing all these little flips and moves and fighting, all these little weapons and all this. This was a big motivation for my inspiration, I guess,
motivation for your inspiration.
My motivation for my inspiration to, let me use a little bit more words with more
Constipation.
Ejaculation.
Destination.
Yeah.
Ejaculation.
But things I would change about this. You guys want to get into that? Time to blow. Let's do
this.
Yeah.
Do we have all now?
Things I would change about this is obviously like the CGI. I think it's just a powerhouse sort of script. I feel like most of it was made to kind of showcase, like, this is not necessarily like a great movie, but is a great demo reel.
That's the most accurate thing you said all night.
I said a lot of accurate things. Everything I said.
This is not a great movie.
It's not a great movie,
podcast,
but it's a great demo reel. I think it was more so to showcase the talents of the martial artists.
What I would change, page 1. No, like I said, action was great. I wouldn't change anything with the action. I think that was on par. A storyline was there. As I said before, my biggest thing is I would have cast somebody different for the character of Malik. I don't think he was good. I think that there should have been whoever they cast needed to have a better chemistry with Mark Dacascos.
Dacascos?
But, and as you said, CGI, yeah, I hate CGI to begin with, but this was terrible CGI. I think the thing that I said, the best part about this movie, besides Brittany Murphy, was John Piper Ferguson. I think he was on point for the
Einstein frog.
Yeah. But biggest thing I would change is Malik. And I also feel like they could have tried a lot less with the humor. I think if they would have done this a little bit more seriously and just sprinkled in the humor, it could have been better. But I think they're trying too hard to make a comedy action movie, and in my opinion, they failed on the comedy aspect of it.
I think for the 90s, the comedy that had it for the 90s, it was more to its level.
It was more dry humor. Like, it was...
I wouldn't say it's dry.
That's probably why you didn't think it was funny.
It was punchy.
It was very, like, no thought was put into it at all. Like, the person that wrote it was like, that seems like it'll be funny, and we left it in there. Even when they filmed it, like I said before, and there's like, that really wasn't funny, but hey, we're going to leave it in there because we have a small budget and a bigger budget than they should have had. And this movie sucks.
Oh.
No, you said it was a 5.
It was a 5, yeah. It didn't suck that bad.
I think if you go in and change anything, it changes the whole ratio of suck to good of the movie. So I just leave it. Like, let the people who like it. Let the people who don't like it, don't like it. It's what it is. It's a campy action movie that got people kicking ass. It's got some funny stuff in it. Just let it ride. Like, I don't think I'd change much. I maybe put a little bit more Brittany Murphy in it if you're going to have her in there.
So you're saying it's funny where it needed to be funny?
Yeah, it was funny where it needed to be funny. Put more of the Brittany Murphy in there.
I want to hear the playback of that. You busting out with
Oh, jeez. Yeah, well, that is Drive. I got nothing else to say about that.
Lonnie,
the thing is like, it's, if you're going into it with like big expectations, I would say don't. I say go in it, experience, and try to just enjoy the experience. Go for the ride.
I'm going to change that. If you're going into this movie, don't.
Like, if you have a choice between watching Drive or anything else,
or a sex tape of your parents. Choose the sex tape of your parents.
No, like if you're gonna get together with a group of buds and it's like you want to watch something fun, let's watch Drive.
You're gonna get together with a group of your friends and you want something on in the background that nobody's paying attention to. This is it.
No, like it could be one of those movies that's fun to sit down and make fun of with your friends.
That's true.
Like it's one of those movies that's fun to get together with a group of people and be like, this is obnoxiously fun. Is it one of those movies where you're going to sit down with a group of video scholars and be like, oh, I think in the third scene, minute 24 of this, I really took inspiration from when Toby Wong's dialogue was... No, it's not that movie. But if you're like, did you see that triple cart roll flip kick that Toby Wong did?
Half spinning lotus into a butterfly twist.
Yeah. And then he stopped and said in perfect English, hey, that was my thing.
That's not perfect. Go home, Brody.
If you
She
wanna,
still
if you
loves you.
If you want a movie where you're spending most of the time wondering where you've seen Kadee heart syndrome, this is probably it. Was it Cosby Show?
You guys
Like,
are
why
Cooper.
Why is Brittany Murphy in the middle of everybody else on the cover of the movie?
Because she
She's
made the
not
movie.
in the movie yet.
She is.
She was one of the bigger names at. Well, I
She
guess
is
not
a
at the time. but around it.
worthless, pointless character.
She was
And
necessary.
then when Brittany Murphy's in the movie, you're like, why is Brittany
the part-
Murphy in
Because
this
she was
movie?
probably the name that was attached to it that would get.
the part where she grabbed a
they got
hand with a
funding.
gun that was still attached to it, and like,
looked at
well,
it and
Kadee tried to
smiled.
bite it like he was going to let go of the gun, and he's like, "What am I doing?"
Yeah.
And then she looked at it like, "Ooh, yeah." But no, this was for me. It's still an awesome movie. Thank you guys for rating it so high. Next,
Actually, we did rate it high.
Yeah,
I
I was really going to go a 4, but I'm like, I'm going to give them the benefit of.
I liked it. I mean,
Will I watch it again?
yeah, you will. Yeah, you will.
Nope.
Look at me, Jeremy. Yeah, you will.
Why do I want to watch it now?
I will. I liked it better than Alpha Dogs.
He did.
That's messed up. Lonnie, so you have to tell us about the next BPT movie.
Yeah, I got a special guest coming in. My turn to bring a special guest in. You guys each got one, so I got one too. My good friend Dave DeMarco, owner of Legend Comics and Coffee here in town, Will Eisner Spirit Award winner from San Diego Comic-Con, screenwriter from Los Angeles, is going to join us for our next BPT episode.
Shit, I didn't realize he had all those accolades.
Yeah, he's got a couple under his belt.
We don't need no accolades.
He's got a couple under there. Me and that man have spent many hours talking about comic books and horror movies and things we would change in movies. Traveled many miles in a car talking about movies. I am excited to see what he's going to pick. I asked him what he wanted to pick, and he said he's going to let his brain noodle on it. So, movie's a mystery, but next episode, our guest is going to be David DeMarco. So
Cool. What would you guys do if he ends up picking a movie we already did? We're just going to do
we'll do
part
it
2.
again.
Like Lonnie can't be like, we already watched that one.
Alpha Dogs Part 2.
Yeah.
Rewatch it.
I'll give it a 0.5 this time.
All right.
Well, you are getting a double dosage of, what was the actress's name? Because you're watching it again, so it kind of goes up, right?
Wait,
Huh?
you know,
The actress who had like 2 seconds of airtime. That was in an Alpha Dog. Never mind.
Wow.
How about you go back and listen to Alpha Dog's movie review? And
No, I don't listen to our
hey,
podcast.
listen to episode 30 next 2 weeks from today.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about 9/11. We're going to play a game that Lonnie has.
Yeah.
And
I hope you guys don't
Justin's going
suck
to
at
talk while we just listen.
why you do this to me, man? But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. I will talk to you again in 2 weeks.
Au revoir.
Boom.
Bon voyage.
Oh, and in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
This concludes our broadcast day. Click.